All right, Celtics Nation, it's time to talk about what's really going on in Boston. The season is only beginning, but the frustration is already building. 3 games in, and the Celtics are still hunting for their first win of the year. The team looked hungry coming into this new campaign, but after losses to the Philadelphia 76ers, the New York Knicks, and now the Detroit Pistons, it's clear that this version of Boston is still trying to find its identity. The energy is there, the passion is there, but something just isn't clicking yet. And even though Jaylen Brown exploded for a monster performance, the rest of the squad just couldn't keep up when it mattered most. Jaylen was on another level. He looked like a man on a mission, dropping 41 points and doing everything possible to drag Boston across the finish line. His shooting was sharp, his drives were fearless, and he was clearly playing with pride. You could tell that he wanted this win badly, especially after the heartbreak of those first 2 losses. He hit 5 of 9 from deep, knocked down 12 of 15 free throws, and carried the offense every time Detroit threatened to pull away. But as great as he was, it's tough to win in this league when one player is doing most of the heavy lifting. The Celtics actually started this one looking solid. They took the first quarter by 9 points, and fans were thinking maybe this was finally the night the losing streak would end. But then came the second quarter, and the energy just faded. Detroit started to attack the paint, get easy looks, and control the tempo. Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren were relentless. Cunningham was smooth with 25 points, while Duren dominated the boards and dropped 24. And by the time the fourth quarter rolled around, Boston found themselves playing catch-up again. They tried to rally, but every time it felt like the momentum might swing, Detroit answered back. The final score, 119-113, tells part of the story. The real issue wasn't effort, it was balance. Jaylen Brown gave everything, but too many others came up short. Derek White struggled early, missing his first 4 3-pointers and finishing the night 3 for 11 from the field. He managed 15 points overall, but those early misses seemed to kill Boston's rhythm. Peyton Pritchard had a decent scoring night with 21, but even he was erratic, shooting just 2 for 8 from long range. Nemias Queta chipped in with 4 points, but the big story of the night was rookie Hugo Gonzalez's rough debut as a starter. Just days after impressing everyone off the bench against the Knicks, Gonzalez was rewarded with a place in the starting lineup. The hope was that his energy and defense could spark something early. Instead, it turned into a learning experience. In 18 minutes, he didn't register a single point, had only 1 rebound, and no assists. It wasn't the kind of follow-up performance he or anyone else expected after his strong showing earlier in the week. But to be fair, he's still just 19, and these are the growing pains every young player has to go through. Brown even defended him after the game, saying Gonzalez brought the kind of hustle and mindset the team needs more of. That says a lot about how much respect the rookie has already earned in the locker room. The rest of the Celtics supporting cast tried to step up, but the results just weren't there. Anthony Simons came off the bench with 12 points, Josh Minott added 10, but Boston's rebounding was a disaster. When your point guard, Pritchard, leads the team with 10 rebounds, you know something's off. Duren grabbed 17 boards for the Pistons, and Ozar Thompson added 12 more, which tells you exactly where this game was lost. The Celtics just couldn't control the glass, and every second-chance opportunity seemed to go Detroit's way. Now, it's still early, but the situation is concerning. Boston fans are starting to realize that this season could be tougher than anyone expected. Jason Tatum is out with a torn Achilles, and even though he's pushing hard to make it back before the end of the season, there's really no reason to rush. The team isn't playing like a contender right now, and forcing Tatum back too soon could make things worse in the long run. Without him, the Celtics look like a group searching for leadership, trying to figure out who they are offensively and defensively. The truth is, this roster took a massive hit over the summer. Kristaps Porzingis, Drew Holiday, Al Horford, and Luke Kornet are all gone, and their absence is being felt every night. Those were the kind of players who brought structure, defense, and veteran experience. The guys Boston has now are working hard, but they just don't have the same chemistry or defensive identity that defined this team in previous years. The funny thing is, if you look at the players the Celtics lost, including Tatum, they'd probably form a better starting five than what's currently on the court. It's not all doom and gloom, though. There are bright spots. Jaylen Brown looks like he's taken another step forward as a leader, both on and off the court. He's playing with intensity, showing accountability, and doing his best to keep the team's spirit alive. And Hugo Gonzalez, despite his rough start, continues to be a name worth watching. He's the second youngest player in franchise history to start a game, only behind Tatum. He's already shown flashes of defensive promise, and head coach Joe Mazzulla has praised his maturity and understanding of his role. Mazzulla said Gonzalez knows what's expected of him: defend at a high level, bring energy, and play with effort on every possession. Those qualities can't be taught, and they might make him an important piece of Boston's future. But for now, the Celtics have to find a way to stop this skid. 3 straight losses can kill early season confidence, especially for a team that's already shorthanded. You can see the frustration in the players' faces, but you can also sense that they're still trying to figure things out. This isn't a team that's given up. It's a team in transition. With so many new faces, the chemistry just isn't there yet, and that takes time. The question is, how long will it take before they find that spark again? Even former Celtics star Al Horford has chimed in on the team's struggles. He believes that the league's new salary cap rules are part of the reason why Boston couldn't keep its championship core together. He's now with the Golden State Warriors, but he's made it clear that if it weren't for the new collective bargaining agreement, he might have stayed in Boston. According to him, the new luxury tax rules basically forced the Celtics to break up a roster that was built to win. Before those trades, the team's salary commitments were sky high, somewhere close to $500 million when factoring in taxes. That's a staggering number, and it's easy to see why team president Brad Stevens had to make tough decisions. But the fallout has been brutal. Now Boston's relying on players who were signed for minimum deals, guys like Luka Garza, Chris Boucher, and Josh Minott, to fill the roles once held by all-stars and veteran leaders. And with Garza already in concussion protocol, the rotation is even thinner. Neemias Quetta, who was a 4th-string big man not long ago, is now being asked to anchor the paint. It's not an easy position for anyone, let alone a team with championship aspirations. Still, Celtics fans are some of the most passionate in the league, and they're not giving up hope. Everyone's waiting for that one breakout game, the moment where it all starts to click and the pieces finally fit together. Until then, it's about patience, development, and a little bit of faith. Because even with all the setbacks, this team still has heart. Brown's playing like a leader. Gonzalez is learning fast. And somewhere down the road, when the chemistry builds and confidence returns, maybe we'll look back at these early struggles as the start of something bigger. The thing about the Boston Celtics is that they've always had this unshakable pride. You can feel it in the way the fans show up night after night, even when things aren't going right. You can feel it in the history that hangs from the rafters inside TD Garden, those 17 banners that remind everyone what excellence looks like. That kind of legacy brings pressure, and this new group of players is learning just how heavy that weight can be. Every missed rebound, every blown lead, every close loss feels magnified when you wear green and white. And right now, the Celtics are trying to prove that even without their stars, they can still live up to that standard. Jaylen Brown has become the emotional anchor for this team. He's not just scoring points, he's setting a tone. You can see him on the sidelines talking to the younger guys, pushing them to stay locked in, trying to keep their heads high. When Hugo Gonzalez struggled in that Detroit game, Brown was the first to pull him aside, telling him to keep his energy up, to play with heart, to forget the box score. That's the kind of leadership Boston needs. Because it's not just about the shots that fall. It's about building a mindset where everyone believes they belong on the floor, no matter who's injured or who left in the offseason. Coach Joe Mazzulla knows this too. He's been experimenting with rotations, trying to find combinations that work, but it's been tricky. Without Tatum, Porzingis, and Holiday, the Celtics' offensive structure has changed completely. They don't have that easy go-to-play anymore, that simple pick-and-pop or isolation that guarantees a good look. Now it's all about movement, hustle, and finding the open man. The problem is that the chemistry isn't there yet. Too often the ball sticks. Too often players hesitate. And in a league where confidence means everything, those split-second pauses can make all the difference. But there's one thing you can't deny about this team. They fight. Even when down double digits, they keep coming. You saw it in the fourth quarter against Detroit. The game looked out of reach, yet Boston refused to fold. They cut the lead down, they pressed on defense, they hustled for loose balls. They didn't win, but they sent a message. There's still fight in this group. That's the kind of mentality that, over time, can turn into wins. Because in the NBA, resilience is a muscle. You have to keep flexing it until it becomes instinct. Still, the reality is harsh. Losing 3 in a row isn't just a number. It messes with a team's psyche. Questions start popping up about rotations, about effort, about direction. The pressure from fans and media builds, and every next game feels like a must-win, even though it's still October. Boston's front office knew this season would be a challenge, but no one expected the growing pains to be this painful. It's a strange mix of rebuilding and competing, where the organization wants to stay relevant while also developing the next wave of talent. Hugo Gonzalez, at just 19 years old, is at the center of that process. His defensive instincts are impressive, and the coaching staff sees him as a long-term piece. What stood out about his debut wasn't just his stats, it was his composure. Even after the loss, he spoke with maturity beyond his age, acknowledging that the team's result mattered more than his personal success. That kind of attitude is rare in a rookie. And while his first start was rough, Mazzella made it clear that Gonzalez earned his opportunity through effort and focus. The message to the rest of the roster was clear: play hard, stay ready, and you'll get your shot. That mentality is going to define this stretch of the season. With veterans gone and injuries piling up, Boston's relying on role players to carry the load. Derek White is doing his best to be consistent, but his shot has been unreliable so far. Peyton Pritchard's energy has been a bright spot, especially his rebounding effort, which is wild for a guard his size. Nimi Izqueta is still trying to find his rhythm as a starter, adjusting to the physicality of playing big minutes. And off the bench, guys like Simons and Minot are showing flashes, but haven't yet found the consistency the team needs to stay competitive in close games. Then there's the elephant in the room, the absence of Jason Tatum. You don't just replace a superstar like that. His scoring, his rebounding, his ability to draw double teams, it changes everything. Without him, defenses can zero in on Jaylen Brown, forcing him to carry too much of the offensive burden. And as good as Brown has been, no player can do it alone night after night. The hope is that when Tatum returns, whenever that may be, the rest of the team will have grown from this experience. The adversity now could turn into strength later. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. In what could be one of the most shocking and era-defining moves in recent NBA history, whispers are echoing across league circles. The Boston Celtics have reportedly secured none other than Giannis Antetokounmpo to spearhead their next championship run. While nothing has been confirmed officially, the buzz has reached fever pitch among insiders, players, and fans alike, a storm of speculation that could signal a seismic shift in the league's balance of power. According to those close to the situation, Boston's front office has been quietly maneuvering behind the scenes for months, crafting a master plan to bring the Greek freak to TD Garden. The move, if true, would pair Antetokounmpo with Jason Tatum, a duo that could redefine dominance on both ends of the floor. Imagine the two sharing the hardwood, one a relentless force of nature, the other a cold-blooded scorer with surgical precision. Rival teams would be scrambling for answers before the first tip-off. The rumor mill suggests that Boston's management had grown restless despite their recent success. Winning alone wasn't enough. They wanted to ensure an era. With the addition of Giannis, the Celtics could be building the most imposing frontcourt in decades, reminiscent of the dynasty days when legends ruled the parquet. Some insiders even claim that subtle social media clues, a few cryptic likes here, a mysterious emoji there, have added fuel to the fire. Of course, skeptics argue this might just be off-season smoke designed to stir conversation. Antetokounmpo has long expressed loyalty to Milwaukee, but NBA history has shown that loyalty can bend under the right mix of ambition, opportunity, and legacy. And Boston, with its storied banners and relentless hunger, offers all three. If these murmurs prove true, the rest of the league may be staring down a new era of Celtic supremacy. The message would be loud and clear. Boston isn't content with being contenders. They want to own the decade. For now, fans can only wait, refresh their feeds, and wonder if the impossible is already in motion. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.